What's up, guys? I want to talk about the 2-day or 3-day or 1-day rule, whatever you call it. And basically, it's this rule where you shouldn't text a girl or you shouldn't text a guy after you meet her or him for 1 day or 3 days after you first get their number. And quite honestly, it is the worst advice in some ways, and it's very good advice in other ways. And the reason for this is because some people disregard it, and then they text too soon, annoy the girl, and they blow themselves out. On the other hand, people will sometimes wait way too long, and it pretty much kills the interaction completely. They forget who you are, whatever. I mean, some guys, they're like, oh yeah, I'll wait a month. 1 month later, hey, yeah, you remember me? And she's like, no. I mean, first off, most guys don't have the balls to even call the girl. They'll text something. So that's even worse. You're going to get a text from some guy a week later or a month later. Guarantee you she will forget about you. And I know that's not always the case. There's so many factors involved. And I think it really depends on how well you know the girl. Like if you're lifelong friends and you've been friends since childhood, and then you get her number, probably she won't forget you. But at the same time, if you meet this girl at a bar, you're probably going to be screwed over if you text a month after. And sometimes, for those of you people who hate the bar scene like me, nightclubs and stuff like that, even if you're approaching her like in the daytime or something like that, probably she will forget you. And so it's like a balance here, and most people go one way or the other, and they're just not calibrated. So let me first talk about disregarding this and texting too early. And this is in fact why this rule is in fact a good thing if you can use it properly. Texting too early. Let's say you get the number and then you start texting her, spam texting her, and just asking hundreds of questions that are very boring about her personal life, like 5 minutes after you get her number. First off, she's going to get annoyed. She's going to get like overwhelmed. She's going to realize you have no life, etc., etc. I mean, 100 texts worth of questions, that's just too much. Too much. Especially after you just left the scene with her number. And this is why this sort of rule is somewhat good. Basically, by doing this, you can sort of show that you're a busy guy, you have a busy life, and you're cool and stuff like that. And it throws off a little bit of mystery, and she might be wondering, why hasn't he texted me yet? What's he doing with his life? He must be a guy with a very healthy, fulfilled life with a lot of stuff to do, etc., etc. And it shows you're not needy or annoying like the first example, and a lot of other things you can probably extrapolate on your own, such as this guy is probably not desperate. And then there's the other side of the spectrum where you wait way too long. And I've kind of already explained why this is kind of bad, but I think I've seen like a couple movies where this has been illustrated, and quite frankly, recently they have been making fun of this. And I remember this one movie which was made in the 90s, and basically I watched it, and the guy, he was pretty bad with girls. He just broke up with a girlfriend of like 10 years, and so he's trying to meet new girls, but he sucks at it. And it was a really crappy movie, by the way. But the point was, he got advice from this friend of his who acted all cocky and stuff, but actually sucked with girls as well. He got advice that pretty much said, you know, don't text this girl you met at the bar until 3 days after. So he sets up his alarm clock, waits approximately 3 days, calls the girl, and you can probably guess what happens from there. She doesn't remember the guy at all. He's trying to set up a date. The girl's like, I don't remember you. I'm sorry. I have to go. And then he blows himself out. Now, obviously, this isn't always the case, and you can always hope. And I guess it's a sort of calibration that really depends on a lot of different factors. Depends on the type of girl, depends on how you met her, how long you've known her, if you've met her, like, been friends for a year, or if you just met her a second ago and asked for a number and got it, and a lot of these factors. But for me, I've always sort of screwed up on it, and I find that it's even worse because nowadays no one has the balls, or no one tries to even call the girl. They will usually text her instead. And I have to agree, calling it takes a lot more courage. It takes a lot more courage to do, and sometimes it's like some people would say it's not ideal. That personally is just an excuse. It's a lame loser's excuse. But yeah, a lot of people, they'll wait 3 days and they won't have the balls to call, so they'll text. And then that's even worse, because if they forgot you, then it's like, who is this? And he didn't even have the balls to really call me. Or maybe she won't say that. She'll just be like, I just got a random text from someone. And it just doesn't go well from there. And sometimes it's not the who is this that blows you out. In fact, if you are actually decently confident, that should not be a reason to be blown out. Because if she forgets you, it doesn't matter. You just remind her again, right? So for me, what usually happens, of the very few times I've experienced this, I'll just explain who I am, right? And from there, she's like, oh yeah, how's it going? And then it continues from there, and I blow myself out. So for me, I think it's never really a problem, because people don't forget me easily, and so it might be different for you guys. But I do feel that, I mean, for some, like, I remember a couple of times, I just didn't text back for weeks afterwards. And most of the time what happens is she'll be like, who is this? And then I will tell her. Or she will not respond at all. And so that's what happens to me. And so I think, quite frankly, you should probably at least text in a shorter span, because otherwise she will have no idea who the number is, what it is, and because of that, she might choose to ignore it. And that at least happens quite often, for me at least. And that might just be down to me not having a good initial interaction. I thought it was decent, but probably not as decent as I would have liked. And yeah, so I would recommend, just don't wait a week or a month. That's just stupid. Think, okay? But obviously don't text too soon. So all I can do is set the extremes for you. So I would place something like wait at least an hour after getting the number, and don't wait longer than a week. And why I'm still leaving such a wide range is because I know for a lot of different situations it can vary dramatically. So that's the range I would put it in, like an hour and a week. And a week is like extreme, so I would put it in 3 days. So that's all I have to say. As always, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys later.